Okay, so this is the second video because apparently I didn't activate my microphone. Um, Pretty cool. So the topic of this video is I've come across this question way too many times, and just hurts me seeing people not being able to answer this. So the question is, if these extraterrestrials are so advanced, why and how would they even crash? Right? We like anyone who's in this topic seen this question or had this question at least once. And the first thing I always think is, bro, how? Like, when did you get an expert in any of this? Like, where do you derive your actual data, your actual information about their kind of thinking that you could apply your thinking on them? Like, even like between humans, like even if we um have a conversation and we obviously we think we did bring our point across and people understood us, but how often did it happen that people did not understand you? And they're like, bro, I don't get your logic. I don't like, why would you even do that? Or like, how do you come to that conclusion? Like we had that even with our friends, even with people who understand us, who know us, right? So back to my question, like, how do you get so confident in asking, bro, that like, how would that make sense? If they're so advanced, let's say 10, 20,000 years ahead of us, if they're so advanced, they surely figured out a way out to like protect their people, right? Here's a very simple and satisfactory answer for you. Okay, let's say these things are 10,000 years ahead of us, right? Let's say they're also like inclined to do technology and everything, etc., right? So after some time, when they experimented with machines, with like metallic things, with like wires going around and everything, they started to experiment, like as we do, with biological creatures. Okay, they've become so good at it that they can literally recreate their own species or like higher, smaller, I don't know, and make them do stuff. If you're a kind extraterrestrial, you could have the idea to just to just make these robots, okay, put them in a car, put them in a craft, and just tell them, yo, your job is to fly to this earth, to this earth where humans live, drive into the atmosphere, and just keep driving until you hit the ground. That's your job. Okay? You would ask why. And I would also ask why, but here's just one simple explanation. If you know there's like, I don't know, in the Milky Way galaxy, there is like, let's say, 1,000 species that are around our that do have the same progress as we do, right? You kind of trying to like lower the ontological shock they get. How could you do that? That like making a biological robot that crashes in their atmosphere with like a car that you made would be pretty good um a pretty good way, right? Because it's you're not living, you are weak in that situation. That means people don't freak out and be like, "Oh my god, is he going to melt my brain? Is he making me like him?" You know? You just send them there. That could be like one very simple, very good explanation, right? Or if like you can spin this anywhere, right? It could literally be this thing is maybe also a biological robot, but let's say its task is also to drive into Earth and crash there. But once it dies, it exposes some kind of agent that is traveling through the air that makes people more compliant. It could be anything. So please, please, please don't argue with things you don't have any information. Just like a very simple example from Earth, from Earth, right? We do have cows, right? Like milk cows. They did not exist in nature. Like we made them produce that much milk, right? Okay. So in this example, I, or like humans, are the cow and the extraterrestrials are the human. Okay? I'm a cow, I'm chilling all day on my, like, I don't know, on my hill, and I'm eating my grass and everything. And once in a while my udder gets so full, I have pain and everything, and I'm like, oh bro, I just want this to be gone. And then the farmer comes along. And you're like, oh yes, this is my best, yo dude, this is my best friend. You know, every time he comes along, he's making all my pain go away. Right? That is what you see as a cow in that situation. What really happens is the farmer's doing that to sell it, to give it to other people to make money, to make an imaginary amount of some cash we decided has value, right? It's not like something substantial like grass, which like you would pay money for if you would understand what money is. So the cow gets the information. Okay, he's kind. He's helping me every time. If I have pain in my, like, anywhere, he's getting a doctor and anything. Of course, you wouldn't understand that, but you understand that every time he comes around, he's helping you. It gets even darker. Okay, like you don't understand that he's just doing that to make an imaginary like an imaginary valuable thing, money. You wouldn't get that. But here comes the kicker. You would also not get at all that the only reason you have that problem with the other is because of that human. They bred your forefathers so that they produce more and more milk. You wouldn't have that problem without that human. But you are happy to see him because he's alleviating that pain. This is the only part that you get. But there is like a whole world around it. Like there is an industry, there's like people whose job it is to drive some of these square-shaped things that make cars, that make sounds and stuff, whose only job is to drive to the farm to pick up that milk to bring it somewhere else. Like there is so much going around you don't get, which is normal, right? Like for us it's good that they don't get it, but just think about how great it would be for something that is way smarter, that people don't get things. Okay? So this is just the point I wanted to make. I hope I helped anyone who's watching this. And yeah, see you guys next time.